Whether your burden is a failed relationship, a difficult childhood, a financial loss, a crime, an unrealized dream, or something else, you can use this spell to help yourself finally get over it. The god Saturn has dominion over endings that lead to new beginnings, so this spell is best cast on a Saturday, as in Saturn's day. You will need a stick of incense, any kind will do, but use fumitory if you are fortunate enough to find it. A sheet of paper, a black pen, a piece of black thread or ribbon, a trowel or small shovel. Preparation. Identify your problem, and use the black pen to write it on the paper. Write it as succinctly as possible, in a word or short phrase such as, my marriage, the fire, my childhood, the robbery, the accident, the affair, the war, a person's name, or whatever your personal issue is. If you have more than one matter to get over, write them all down. The spell. Get into a magical mood, and create sacred space around the area where you will be working. Light the incense, and raise power. Spend a few minutes looking at what you have written on the paper. Focus on the fact that these words, and the events or people they represent, are no longer a part of you. Roll the paper into a cylinder, and waft it through the incense smoke. As you do this, say aloud, smoke curl, paper furl. By the power of fumitory, I expel you from my thoughts. You have no power over me. Repeat this as many times as feel necessary to you, and believe it when you say it. Next, crumple the paper into a ball. Place it in a doorway, so that it will be caught between the door and its frame when the door closes. Slam the door on the paper, and say aloud, door jam, door slam. By the power of Janus, I shut the door on whatever it is you wish to shut it on. This chapter of my life is closed. Use the words that you wrote on your paper to fill in the blank at the end of that sentence. If slamming the door repeatedly on the paper would help you to release pent-up emotions, go ahead and do it. Remove the ball of paper from the doorway. Tear it into long strips, or run it through a paper shredder. Gather the strips into a bundle, and tie it with the black thread or ribbon. Fold the strips as many times as possible, tying them with a thread each time. The incense should have finished burning by then, and you should have a small package of paper and thread that represents the issue or issues you intend to get over. Ground the power that you raised. Toss the bundle in a corner or near the trash to show yourself how little it now means to you. Clean up. You could complete this spell immediately, or you could complete it early the next morning. That is the best choice because dawn is an auspicious time for fresh starts and bright beginnings. The bundled strips of paper, and get the trowel. Take them outside, and bury the package in a place where you frequently walk, such as in your yard or driveway. Be sure to bury it deep enough that it is not likely to be unearthed by rain, animals, or anything else. If you cannot bury the paper, perhaps because you live in a city where all ground surfaces are paved, or because it's winter and the earth is frozen solid, use your ingenuity to find a way to complete the spell. One way to do it, provided your plumbing can handle it, is to flush the bundle down the toilet. Afterward, whenever you come to the place where you buried the bundle, stand on it and say, I am over it. Take a step past it and say, it is behind me. Take another step and say, I am fine. I am free. Take a fourth step and say, I am moving on. You can say these affirmations aloud when you're alone, but say them mentally when others are present. Do this every time that you pass over the buried paper. You will need this little ritual for a while, but in time you will begin to forget it. That is when your true healing begins, when you stop needing the ritual. There will later come a time when you can no longer remember exactly where you buried the paper, or perhaps even why you buried it. Finally, the whole thing will seem absurd to you. That is when you'll be sure that the spell has fully manifested.